Have you ever thought about what would have happened if Microsoft had open-sourced Windows back in the 90s? Would we have even Linux today, or would the infamous blue screen of death have just been a blue folding screen that suddenly fell and killed someone? Remember the days of chunky monitors and floppy disks? That was prime Windows territory. Microsoft ruled the desktop world, but open-source Linux was starting to make waves. Bill Gates toyed with the idea of opening Windows but decided to keep everything locked up. Microsoft bosses believed that having full control of Windows was the key to Microsoft's business strategy. But what if they had flipped the script? Instead of strict closed-source software, they released Windows Code for all to see and tinker with. If Windows had been open-source, it might have merged the best parts of Linux, like stability, freedom to customize, and of course, the passionate open-source community. Basically, we'd have a massive global crowd of developers constantly improving Windows. Would Linux even exist as we know it today? Well, maybe not. If Windows was free and open, Linux might not have needed to step up as the go-to open-source system. In our imaginary timeline, maybe even Apple feels the heat. macOS going open-source might sound bonkers, but with open-source Windows taking center stage, Apple could have been pressured to shake things up. Imagine a world where all major operating systems were open-source. Updates, bug fixes, new features, everything would happen at lightning speed. That's kind of a dream for many tech enthusiasts. Of course, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. With open-source Windows, we'd probably have different groups creating their own wacky versions, some stable, some not so much. There would be endless debates over which Windows spin is the best, and Microsoft being used to controlling every detail might have faced some serious headaches trying to coordinate everything. But you know what? This what if is super fun to think about. Maybe we'd have fewer operating systems battling each other and more collaborative efforts that push technology forward. Or maybe total chaos would break loose with a dozen of experimental Windows versions clogging up your downloads folder. So what do you think? Would open sourcing Windows in the 90s have changed history for the better, or would it have led to a huge complicated mess? Write in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and stay in tech.